There's a lot of things we want to get into in today's conversation, but to it'd be irresponsible if we did not start with the passing of Jesse L. Jackson Sr. Um, the now late Jesse Jackson passed away. Some people know of his accomplishments. Some people don't. I won't even call them accomplishments. I'll say contributions. Some people don't. I think his story is one of the more interesting ones in terms of how it's viewed by people. His contribution, then also mixed with the tales of his selfishness or perhaps betrayal even, and how that all gets kind of thrown into a pot, mixed up, and then what comes out. I think it's a very, very interesting tale. What is not as debatable or worth or whatever is his legacy, his contribution, what he's meant, what he's done, and what I think was what I like to call a race well run. So in this moment, I just, more than anything, just want to offer condolences, gratitude, and appreciation for what was the man, the life, the legacy of Jesse Jackson Sr.
Yeah, I think how you started that is very interesting in context of legacy, even in pushing into the ideas of betrayal. Because depending on who's viewing it, that quantifies legacy.
Agreed.
Right. I think that conversation is going to play out in the vast majority of conversations we had today, because I think this is a very interesting paradigm that we see ourselves in, and it leads to some of the conversations we have, some of the ideas we have, some of the things we're trying to accomplish. One of the things we're trying to put on the table is a symposium of sorts, a conglomerate of black media, and the value and the promise and the responsibility of what that means. And if we think about how media is being distributed today, it's mostly on the web. And if you get past like Gen Xers, I don't even think anybody below that really engages books or TV at the rate that other generations have.
Print media, so to speak.
Right. And I think when we start to understand the money and where the money's coming from, like it's largely dominated by these very, very distinctly white supremacist philosophies. But we also have to pull into how that influences thought, because media is the third or fourth arm of government, right? So even the fact that we started a conversation around the betrayals of Jesse Jackson 3-4 days after he's passed away, that shit is so disrespectful to me. And that doesn't say that Jesse Jackson was above reproach. Nobody is. We're human. You know what I mean? But in context of Rev passing away, like Rev was a personal mentor of mine, personal friend of mine. I want to send condolences to Mama Jackie, Jonathan, Jesse Jr., Santita, all the Jacksons. And I will second your perspective in that was a race world one, regardless of whatever indiscretions people tend to attach to our leaders.
No, I feel the same way, man. I don't think that this is the time or should be the time to try to poke at his legacy or what he meant and what he did or what he didn't do. I do think as a media outlet, I do think we have a responsibility to put everything on the table in terms of what all gets mixed into that pot if we're going to talk about him in a real way, and warranted, unwarranted, fact, fiction, that is a part of his story.
Well, I think we have a responsibility to know. And I think people put a lot on the table that they don't know.
Okay, do we know?
Right. Well, we don't have context to the very basics. So getting into the details of the depth of a human is very interesting to me in this specific environment. Right, which speaks to the value of journalism and the value of keeping money outside of journalism.
Yeah.
With the minute money goes into it, it starts to sway and dictate how you have to communicate and have conversation. Again, none of this is to exalt Jesse Jackson.
No.
Right? But I've had other conversations earlier this year. We in Black History Month. And, with the advent of AI, I've seen Dr. King, I've seen Malcolm X, I've seen the Obamas, all with gold teeth and strip club attire on. And that's what black people doing. Oh, I don't even want to say those are black people doing that because I don't know.
Right.
Because just recently, right, there was a Twitter breach and you was finding out a lot of these kind of black conversations was emanating from other countries. Mm-hmm. But if you start to dig deep enough and just understand the perils of American life, like we were talking about this Epstein shit and this conglomerate of this worldwide like secret society that's doing all this shit. What do you think for a moment that those same kind of things aren't happening to black people? And I don't even mean the child molestation or the sexual assault or trafficking. Yeah. I'm just talking about the conglomerate to create mind control or philosophies or ideas or dictate media. Sure. Media by its nature dictates thought and behavior.
Here's my general stance. Anytime I'm faced with an enigma or some type of conundrum, it is, like I said, what do we know, right? And I compare that to what we actually know, right? So we can talk about theories, we can talk about, did he do this? What was his real relationship? What was his real motive with Dr. King? What was his role, if any, in Dr. King's assassination? What benefit has he? We can talk about all those things if you want to, right? We don't know the answer to those questions. Here's what we do know, though, right? And if I compare what we do know about Jesse Jackson to what people want to bring up as a possibility of things that we don't necessarily know, what we do know outweighs that, right? To me.
But again, perspective is everything. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with some young people the other day about Dr. King. Mm-hmm. And we could deal in what we do know. But that's also based in this world we live in, is often quantified through your lens, how you view shit.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Oftentimes, Dr. King is shunned for being or moving in an anti-violent philosophy.
Yeah.
Right? He's shunned for that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we live in a community, specifically Chicago, where, being a YN is a very prevalent idea or philosophy.
Right.
Right? And they couch their strength or their power or their toughness or their masculinity
in switches
directly tied to having a philosophy tied to that YN culture. Mm-hmm. Right? And I brought to this conversation, I said, man, because it was a young man I was talking to, and he was like, man, I don't really walk with Dr. King. And I know you don't know shit about Dr. King, right, in truth.
Right.
Other than somebody said he said turn another cheek. Right? But your ass won't go to the corner store because this nigga's trying to kill you. Mm-hmm. This man traveled the world while a whole goddamn country was trying to kill him.
Right.
Who's tough?
Right.
You bitch ass nigga, who's tough?
Right.
Yeah, but per his perspective, he's a coward. Nigga, you won't go to your corner and you don't see yourself as a coward.
Right.
Miss the fuck out of me. That's all perspective based, but it's perspective based, wrapped in an idea that's being sold to you by a conglomerate that has an interest in keeping you stupid.
Yeah. No, I feel it, man. Lots more commentary to come on the life and the legacy of Jesse Jackson, what it was, what it meant, what the contributions were, what's the lasting impact of said contributions, and then what comes next. I also think there's a real conversation that needs to happen around black leadership and what that now looks like, right? We're talking about the last of those men when you talk about Jesse Jackson and you talk about the minister, you talk about the reverend. It's like, okay, well, they've reached the end of their biological clock, right? Now what?
Well, in my mind, that goes back to us having media symposium.
I agree, 100%. That's the purpose.
Yeah, it's not like those voices don't exist. They're just being drowned out. Right. When I was young, Farrakhan was on Donahue. That's daytime television. Right. When's the last time you seen Farrakhan? The only clips you're going to see of Farrakhan on television is from Donahue. Mm-hmm. That was 30, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. He's still here. He's still doing what he doing.
Still moving, right.
He's still moving. He ain't made TV in 30 years. No, that was a decision made by the people who control media.
Right.
He can't be here anymore.
Right.
Right. And if you don't have those messages, you're being Even the fact that how we have a conversation about Jesse, you just said, man, we got to da-da-da. When Kobe died, Gayle King brought up the rape.
Yeah.
We saw the entirety of Black America say, hold on, Gayle, you out of the body, shorty.
Right.
We gonna honor Kobe.
Right.
You think, and I no disrespect to Kobe.
He's a basketball player.
You think Kobe is warranted the level of respect Jesse Jackson Jr. is warranted in context to black people?
He's a basketball player.
He's a basketball player at his core.
Right. He's an entertainer.
Right, but just we could quantify those two examples. He died. Gayle said, but yeah, he's a rapist, which he wasn't.
Right.
Proved to be a rapist.
Right.
Right? And we saw all of Black America come out and be like, you dog face hoe?
Right. Right.
Right? Jesse dies and everybody's like, well, he killed King.
Ain't that literally what Snoop
they
said?
You dog face hoe. That's literally what they said.
I think he called a B word.
Yeah, right? But Jesse passes and it's like, yeah, he killed King. He did. Some motherfucker said, yeah, he convinced us to call ourselves African American while he kept his Cherokee lineage. Man, some of this shit is getting out of, it's beyond my scope of understanding.
People speak from a level of ignorance, man. And those, like I said, those commentaries will continue to go in the coming days and weeks.
And they use us against us. And again, what I'm saying is like, this is like it's like a CIA operation, man. And I go back to leveraging the Jay Green conversation we had a couple weeks ago where he went and recorded from a Patreon and put out a clip. I ain't tripping on Jay Green. I could give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we were all here in the room. We know the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We made a conscious decision to say, hey, we don't want to put this out because we don't want to participate in something we've never spoken publicly about.
Right.
Right? The clip he puts out only has a one-sided viewpoint. It's only him talking. And in the clip, the only other word that gets said is Herbert saying, I agree with you.
Right.
But he was able to shape a narrative about who we were to a whole group of people who've never heard us communicate.
Right.
And the only thing we said in the video was, I agree with you.
Also based on a topic that had nothing to do with why we didn't put the episode
While we
out.
were in here.
And why we didn't put it out.
It had nothing to do with it. But a whole narrative got shaped.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is think about that at a mass level.
Yeah.
And think how you could say, people who know me after that Jamal Green thing happened, called me and considered me a sellout.
Right.
You're taking checks from XYZ. You know my phone number, asshole. You can call me direct.
Yeah.
You don't know him.
Yeah.
You don't know shit about him. You know the presentation that he creates. You know who's backing him. You know who's behind him. I know more about him than you do. But he has a larger following, and he attacked. It was sensationalism that you like to buy into because you operate at your lowest fucking levels.
Goofy shit. I think some of those things will continue to play out. What I'm also not looking forward to in terms of grandstanding and goofy shit is the memorial services for Jesse Jackson. And I anticipate this is going to be one of those grandstanding things where people are like, who's who was there, who wasn't there, who took pictures with who. And like, I'm really debating with my own self, do I even want to go? And I should go, right? I get that part of it, but it's like, I don't even know if I fucking want, like, you have a personal relationship with the Reverend. I know the Reverend, not personally, like, not like you do, but I've stood on the stage at Rainbow Push and given speeches with the Reverend next to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like I should go, but I also don't want to be a part of the goofy shit. Like, I don't have any desire to be a part of the spectacle that I anticipated being. And so I don't even know if I'm going. I'm sure you are, but
one thing was certain though, man, being in Chicago, and in this moment in time, it kind of just reinforced how special we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When he passed away, everybody kind of gave their condolences, or at least, my peer group, but people I was seeing in the network. And I was realizing how many moments he shared with so many people.
Yeah.
Right? How many pictures to people.
Yeah.
And we don't understand the value of being able to touch somebody of that magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I saw thousands of people with pictures of Jesse in different environments. Like, man, that's like touching history in real life.
Yeah.
Right? My son has got to meet Jesse Jackson personally. My son has got to meet Mr. Louis Farrakhan personally. My son has got the experience. You know, like this is living history.
Yeah.
Like everybody don't get that, man. If you born in shit California, for lack of a better word, who do you? If we think about it, Jesse and Mr. Farrakhan is the biggest black leaders.
That's what I said.
Barack
That's the top.
Obama.
Now what?
Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, all Chicago people, and they're all with the exception of Obama, they were all fairly accessible. You know what I mean? That's just in the very essence and nature of that. Like the impact that should have on the community should be much greater than it is.
You know what? I think it kind of leans into something I saw on social media like a week or so ago, and it was like, it was speaking to how unimpressed Chicago is. Chicagoans are. How unimpressed Chicagoans are, right? Like we're not impressed by your stuff. We're not impressed by your title. We're not impressed by and part of that is because people who we hold in such regard are fairly accessible to us, right? And that's on every level. That's the dignitaries you speak on. It's athletes, it's musicians. It's not uncommon for us to see Derrick Rose or Kanye or R. Kelly or whatever. We're not that impressed. Like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And part of that, there's a double-edged sword to that. You know what I mean? It's good to have the accessibility. It also diminishes what you think of that. You know what I mean? It's kind of something like I remind myself with my other job, my other work as a sports reporter. It's like when people get to talking about like Caleb Williams or Ben, it's like y'all getting on my fucking nerve. But it's like, who the fuck else gets to talk to these motherfuckers on a daily basis? And this is like, it works both ways, but it just is what it is, man.
I have a question, and I know you was about to hit your intro, but
Yeah.
in regards to,
I just thought you was finna yell at me to do it anyway.
No. And since we're talking about the Reverend, with him being rejected to lie at Capitol Hill, where the family requested that he be able to lie there, is how they explained it. I don't know if that means actually have his remains there, or if it's just like a memorial or sort of a thing. But do you know anything about that too, or is that something that we as black people should even be upset about, considering the administration we have in charge? Because to me, like, I would look at it like, do we even want that? Like, I wouldn't want it, considering who's a part of the administration right now. But as far as from a respect standpoint or a historical standpoint, do you think that that's important, or that is unimportant, that it's even missed or not allowed?
That's a good question.
I wasn't hip to it. I understand the process of it. I probably have two varying degrees of perspectives, right? I was going to answer it immediately with saying, well, he ain't a politician, but he is a dignitary, right? And he has had immense impact on American politics.
History. Yeah,
not even just American history, American politics directly, right? Barack Obama could never be Barack Obama without Jesse Jackson. And I'm not just talking about him running for president. I'm talking about him changing the rules for running for president, right? Jesse Jackson legitimately operated in hostage negotiations in the past. Like, he's a dignitary. So I get it. And I guess at some level, this leads into like what the FBA conversation really is. Should we be pissed off because of this, or should we say fuck it or reject it because of this administration? Or should we say no, as part of this country and part of our relationship to said country, this is what said country owes. You know what I mean? So it's what being black in America really is, right?
Do you withdraw on the debt owed?
Right, like you don't know shit else. It's like having a father that abandoned you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to love this motherfucker so bad, but he treats me so terribly.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's a very interesting perspective. I can see the family's desire to do so. I want to say something, but I don't want to say something because I feel like it'd be disrespectful to the family. But I don't think Rev would give a fuck.
Welcome to this episode of Herb and Two, alongside the well-raised and connected Tucson, Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is where we get together. We talk about issues that currently impact the black community, how they impact us individually, how they impact us collectively. We need your help talking through these issues. We hope to find the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. We do that here. We would kindly ask you to please take a quick second to like the video, subscribe to the page, click the alert so you get reminders every time the page drops new content. Shout out to all of the official dirtbags. Subscribe to the Patreon. We appreciate y'all as always. Again, this is Herb and Two. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. Two. It's a nice timepiece there, brother.
Yeah, Timu special. $1.99.
It looks
for the woodwind piece.
It looks more expensive.
No, I don't know if I'm just talking shit.
It's gonna stop ticking soon, isn't it?
No, it's fly though. I'm talking shit. I don't even
fly.
know if it is for Timu. I got it as a gift for my daughter.
It matched my outfit today, better.
I
than
said
yours.
Timu
Give it
because
to
I
me.
know my daughter's full of shit, so she'll get me some Timu shit.
That's crazy. Bank got bread, man. Stop. Don't do her joke.
Yeah, but I just bought her a ticket to come up here. So she'll be here like next week, I think it is.
That's what's up. Shout out to Bank.
She's so funny,
Shout
man.
out
Let
to
me
Stink.
real quick. She calls me the other day. She's like, Daddy, I'm in the gossip. I gotta talk to you.
Uh-oh.
I said, well, what gossip are you in, baby? She said, Kenwood gossip. I said, nigga, you live
Kenwood
in
gossip?
Texas. How are you in Kenwood gossip? So she runs down the whole story for me. Let me say this. Fathers, be involved in your daughter's lives, man.
Father.
That's all I got.
It is what it is, man. In the opening, we were talking about, Chicagoans and our attachments to the city, what impresses us, what moves us, what doesn't. The Chicago Bears are in heated negotiations with the state of Illinois. I won't say heated. They are in intense negotiations with the state of Illinois surrounding their new stadium build-out project. What we know is that the Bears spent $200 million on a plot of land in Arlington Heights, the former racetrack, to build a stadium there. What we also know is that the McCaskies have historically done things backwards, and this is no different. They bought the land without having tax agreements in place. They then hired Kevin Warren to be the president of the Chicago Bears to finish the stadium deal, and he had to do so without any leverage because y'all already bought the land. Illinois, Governor Pritzker, and the politicians, Cam Buckner, among others, were like, we don't have no reason to budge for what y'all want to get done because y'all already bought the land. So no, we're not going to tell the Illinois taxpayer to foot the bill for y'all. Do it on your own, right? Commendable. And I also understand that Governor Pritzker is trying to gear up for a presidential run. This is not the time for him to be pissing off any constituents or any voters to say, hey, I'll pay more taxes, right? So he's also like, no, we're not rocking. Cool. Kevin Warren, who is a shrewd negotiator because he'd be a great poker player or great at the game of chicken on the road because he just doesn't move. He's like, okay, whatever. We'll put it somewhere else. And then he goes around the state of Illinois saying, we'll put it here, we'll put it there, we'll put it there. All of which, to me, was valiant as it was a dog and pony show, just trying to get the Illinois legislature's attention. It didn't work until Indiana stepped in. Indiana kind of set them aside for as long as they could, kind of watching it like, that ain't our business. We ain't got nothing to do with that. We can't get the Bears. But now we 2 years in. So, well, let me just throw my bid in right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was alluding to it on the Herb Howard show. Like, it's kind of like relationships. You see a relationship struggling, you're like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. And then it go on for so long, and then now old girl like, hey, I heard you and your girl, what's up? Why don't you slide through? And then when you slide through, she got it laid out. The crib is immaculate. The food is fire. The activities are enjoyable. And Indiana's like, you can have your way over here.
But does she feed your spirit?
We're gonna get to that. My point is she got it laid out. And Indiana got it laid out for the Bears right now. They said, we'll pay for the stadium up front. We'll let y'all rent to own it so y'all can become the eventual owners of it. Put it here, put it there. We got tax breaks for you. We got this, that, and the third. They voted for it and 24-0 unanimously, they voted in favor of bringing the Bears over there.
Of course they would.
They can,
what the fuck else they got?
Of
the
course,
Klan?
It's Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, all they got left is the Klan.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I know you don't want to say that, but all they got left is the Klan.
Whatever, I don't care.
What you talking about?
What I'm saying, like, it don't matter to me where the Bears play at, right? I've covered the Bears all over this country and even in Europe, and everywhere I've covered the Bears, droves of Bears fans follow them. This will be no different wherever they put the stadium at. So the conversation yesterday got super hot, and I got fans on my Twitter like, I'm never going to a Bears game again. First of all, I think you're capping. Second of all, it doesn't matter if you go or not.
First of all, you probably never been to a Bears game in the first place.
That part. So it's like, whatever. The point is, however many seats they put in that stadium, every one of them will be filled on game day.
But will they be the Hammond Bears or the Chicago Bears?
They'll be the Chicago Bears forever.
So Hammond, you was a bitch
They'll
ass.
be Indianimals.
Indianimals. Hammond, Indiana, you a bitch ass nigga if you let another team because of your goddamn states, because this isn't just a city shift.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you can walk to Hammond. It's still Indiana.
No, but there's precedent for it.
I'm not saying it's not.
I
just want you to be clear of how much of a bitch you are.
Sure.
You're a full out bitch by letting the motherfucker come to your town and still have to borrow a name from the town they came from.
You got the New York Giants, the New York
That's
Jets.
like having a child that you raised,
and
he be junior to some other nigga. You out your mind. We changed that nigga name to Ma. Fuck is you talking about?
To Ma.
Little Raphael. No, not over here.
It's like that, but I get that. Like I said, the New York Giants, New York Jets, they both play in the state of New Jersey. Several other teams around the league, the 49ers, Cowboys, and others play.
And look at Jersey.
Play in different cities.
Dirty. Yeah. The nickname for Jersey is Dirty Jersey. You'd never get respected.
Little New York.
You know what I mean?
It is what it is. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it. It's something that's going on, and now Kevin Warren has finally found a dance partner worthy of the governor's attention. Like, oh, wait a minute. I wasn't tripping when you was tricking around with these sack chasers around here trying to get me off my move. But now you got one of them earthly girls with the waist beads. She's a threat. Now you over there doing yoga.
You know what I'm saying?
You burning incense.
She got her dreads done and shit.
You saging.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Trying to change my life.
You wearing natural deodorant.
Out here with the baking soda on. You know
what I'm talking about? Yeah. Got his attention now. So the ball is back in Illinois' court. We'll see what happens.
Bears ain't going nowhere, man.
I don't think so, but I also don't think Illinois will be able to come up with as sweet a deal as Indiana. I'm talking about Indiana got to lay it out. The Indiana woman, she over there.
Still wants to be president. He's Ozempicing it out. He'll pay for that shit out his pocket.
We'll see.
In this moment in time, he got his cousin in the Epstein files who just quit his job. He got too much shit on him. He will pay for that shit out of his pocket. How much you need?
Come on home.
Count them out.
That is what's happening with them. Speaking of money and home and rent, your boy Fifth has to stop, G. 50 Cent has to stop, man. He keeps trolling everybody. The latest victim of his troll spree is Jim Jones. 50 Cent put out video footage of Jim Jones trying to kick the door into the studio where he produces his content because apparently he's been evicted from said studio, and 50 Cent thinks that's hilarious. And he does the whole 50 Cent thing, trolling them and putting this all out. And he's like, man, you and me getting evicted if we was friends. You want to be friends? I don't know if I want to be friends. Like, Fifth is too old to do the shit that Fifth does, in my opinion. But this time, the target of his jest is Jim Jones.
Hey, when do we mature?
Not at 50 Cent's age.
And I'm talking about it as a group.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I saw the 50 thing. I thought it was an old video because I thought Jim already had the problem with not being able to get into the studio.
No, because not only did Fifth put the video up, Fifth put the notice up that the people had put on the door with the dates on it. From that, he had the 15-day notice, then he had a 5-day whatever, and all that happened. It ran out on February 17th, and then.
Man, and this has been happening for a while. Like, I'm so disillusioned with hip hop, right? Because for me, at 50, like reliving high school isn't an interest of mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a very large contingency of my peers in that arena who relive what I think a 16, 17, 18, man, sometimes not even 18-year-old kind of act like.
Right.
I think that music is reflective of that. You know what I mean? I think their behaviors are reflective of that. Just recently, Jim Jones is taking L's across the board, but Jim Jones is a video service of Jim Jones having an altercation with Dame Dash, and you know, it's to a point where Dame was like, "All right, I'm sick of this shit, G. I'm about let's shoot a fair one. Let's just fight, nigga. Let's just."
That's an old video though.
Either way,
But
my
yeah.
point is it surfaced on some ego shit,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And there's a conversation that happens between Jim and Cameron. There's a conversation that happens between 50 and everybody. A week ago, it was Ja Rule and the Super Bowl shit.
Yayo and Uncle Murder.
Yayo and Uncle Murder. It's all childish, rudimentary shit.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this is that we're in a moment in time where we're remembering Jesse Jackson's passing. And we're having a conversation about where does black leadership come from. And I'm not saying that is our leadership community, but they are being hosted by that same media as that.
Sure.
And this is the shit we do and talk about. Man, who gives a fuck? Shut up.
Agreed. Moving on. Clifton Powell, the actor, long-running actor, probably most known for playing Pinky in the Friday series. But he's done a lot of roles that I've always enjoyed. My favorite role is still from him in Menace to Society. I don't give a fuck what I said. I don't got the bed for 3:30. You bring your crack ass around here this early no more. That's still the best line in the history of movies to me. But anyway, he's in a round table discussion. And I'm not as versed in, I didn't watch the whole thing like P did. And I think you've seen more of it than I have too at this point. But he's in a round table discussion about black manhood, as I understood it.
So it's called Trust Black Women.
Black Men Trust Black Women Roundtable.
Mm-hmm. And in it, from what the piece I'm speaking to, he's talking about the lack of knowing how to love, right? And how that doesn't come to us innately. That we have to learn it, perhaps relearn it if you get into the whole deep, if you want to get deep in the conversation, whatever. But how we have to learn that. And he's saying now himself at 70, he's just now learning how to love. And he's at the table with another guy. There's a bunch of people at the table, but the guy that I saw him get into this heated, back and forth with was a black man of the LGBTQ community.
Also much younger.
And significantly younger, right? So probably, I would say, late 20s, early 30s. And he goes, I'm sick of y'all waiting till y'all get old, so now y'all want to do right by black women. Black women, y'all, he goes on this whole thing, and it gets heated, and it gets disrespectful when Clifton Powell wasn't being disrespectful. He even told it, like, at first he like, look, brother, say your piece. Go say whatever you got to say. It's cool. And then it just got confrontational out of nowhere. And then the younger brother, of course, gets up and storms out like a real housewife. What did you think about that interaction? But more importantly, what do you think about the conversation of knowledge of love, when it arrives, how it arrives, and how it's then?
So let me say this, man. Again, the start of this conversation plays out in every other conversation we've had thus far. All right. Who is in control of the legacy of Jesse Jackson?
Right.
Right. Who is in control of the legacy of black manhood? Who is in control? Who creates these paradigms, or who creates the ideas in which we align ourselves to? Who's writing the script for our narrative?
Sure.
First thing I look at is, and respectfully, you just said it, right? Clifton Powell's most notable role is this. He's done all these other things, but even in that, he's not even a top guy in his field.
No, he's like B-list, maybe C-list. I don't know.
Right. And he was the most famous dude in my mind. Maybe Luke James, he was at that table too. But other than those two, I had to do some research to find out who these people were. right?
I saw the buddy who was in what's the show? The stripper show P Valley.
Okay.
I saw a buddy that played the rapper.
I didn't watch that. That's more your speed than mine, but cool.
Sure.
Point I'm making is, even if I could identify them, why are those the voices having that conversation? What makes them qualified to have that conversation? Who are those people that we should be listening to about how they relate to women at all?
Mm-hmm.
Not saying you don't have a perspective, right? But we've had this conversation before about Chris Rock has a joke. Fat people don't fail cooking.
Right.
Yes, the fuck they do. Because if they really understood food, they wouldn't be fat.
Right.
Right? That's the real, genuine logic to that shit, right? But there's a book up here right now, The Man Not. Right? It's in all the fucking videos that we shoot. Right? A book written by Tommy Curry. Right? Tommy Curry studies black masculinity. He studies patriarchy. He's notable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a worldwide scholar in this field.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had that same conversation with Tommy Curry, nobody would know it happened.
Right.
But he's a motherfucker who studied in it. And the problem I have with it is that we take the word of people who are not studied in shit about anything as long as they have visibility and celebrity.
Sure.
Right? Skin Bone and Norilla, the little girl's sister, did a goddamn podcast. It is 1.something million views on that shit. Mm-hmm. Respectfully, two people who don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Whereas I did this, the only reason I noticed because I did this the other day, I was like, man, let me look at how this was distributed versus how this is distributed. And then I went to what I would deem to be the top probably 10 black news casters or stations or sources. Okay. And just looked at their videos from the same amount of time. Skinbone got damn near 1 million views, if not past that at this point. The black media is 7,000, 8,000, 15,000. Right? This is the shit that we're tuned into. Mm-hmm. And there is a reason as to why we're tuned into these things. Mm-hmm. Right? If we think about the Black Renaissance or the Civil Rights Movement or any of those eras in time, there was an energy, a groundswell, and then there was something that grew and was built out of all of those entities. That only happens when you can kind of corral interest.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Today, our corralling of interest is around bullshit and ego shit and notoriety shit. That's one perspective of this entire conversation.
Yeah.
Second perspective of this conversation is Clifton Powell is from a different generation than the guy he was talking to.
Right.
And I only bring this to the forefront because I hear a bunch of conversations that minimizes lived experiences and the value of black manhood from an elder perspective. Mm-hmm. We minimize the shit out of that with no perspective of it.
You lived through shit you ain't even seen.
You can't fathom. And we say this shit, like I've always said that government dictates how we relate to one another, period. Mm-hmm. Right? If your ass, take your ass to Dubai, who all these goofy motherfuckers aspire to go to, where they still enslaving black people, if you know the truth, mm-hmm. right? You can't talk a certain kind of way in public. Mm-hmm. Women can't show past their eyes. That is all government enforced. And when you get down there, you align yourself with those rules, right? Well, you think if you can't talk a certain way in public, that'll dictate how you relate to people? Go your ass to prison and see if you can talk any kind of way you want. See if the government and rules of that prison don't dictate how your ass behave. I bet you the fuck they do. I think prison is one of the most hospitable places on the planet. No, I'm serious. Because the consequences is dire. That's government.
Yeah.
Right? So government dictates how we behave in a whole plethora of ways. Mm-hmm. Right? And those dynamics dictate how our relationships work. So the denier motherfucker who's had a lived experience that you couldn't fathom, man, shut the fuck up. One.
Yeah.
Two, the level of disrespect in which he talked to Clifton Powell with. And there's a whole lot of push from a different class of people, a different gender of people, a different, all the shit is different. Mm-hmm. Right? You're young, you're a woman, you align with certain ideologies of this, anything below Gen X, you probably agree with the homosexual boy, right? And I get it. But what I'm speaking to specifically is the distinct disconnects we're having generationally and the lack of respect we have for one another.
Yeah.
It's some amazing shit to me.
No, the conversation, it was disrespectful. And P, you put a very solid perspective on it. This is a full picture because, like I said, I had only seen the clips of it. So you haven't seen more of it, brought more context to the conversation. But I still think, like to your point, like, why are they having the conversation? I mean, I think every black man is welcome to have the conversation. But why does it gain any notoriety? You know what I'm saying, so to speak. And then from what perspective are all of these people even speaking from?
Just speaking on the video, it was different, and it wasn't. I mean, I guess you can honor the different perspectives, but from a man, immediately watching the show, like one of the guys at the table was a transgender that was born a woman.
Right.
So immediately, just when he say or when he says,
You haven't even lived the life of a
when he
black
say-
man.
when he says us as black men, every time he says us as black men, I'm instantly like, wait, hold up, wait, what the fuck is we at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's just
wait.
and that's just
Innately.
that's just subconsciously though. That's
Yeah.
subconsciously my mind. Like, how can you even relate, motherfucker?
You haven't lived the black
you
man
just
experience.
joined this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you ain't even, so it was hard. And then even from the homosexual perspective, because that kind of like, how can you can't tell me how to love a black woman, or you can't even tell me how to love
When you
women
don't
too,
relate romantically
because
to
you
black
don't
women.
even you don't even look at the white black woman how I look at her. So
Right.
it's no way you can even understand this side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
that part kind of was definitely conflicting as far as watching the episode.
I have a question. Was the conversation strictly about romantic love or just protecting?
No, it was
Black women in general.
it was about protecting black women in general, and the most part they definitely made it. They made a point to separate the two.
Okay.
That you're not just loving your mother or your girlfriend or your wife. It was like the genuine love for women. Period. You
Yeah.
know, and I understood that, and I took appreciation to that, just showing the difference between the two. But it was just the people at the table. At some points, it was just like, yeah, you can't even, you know what I mean. And then you could see even when it flared up to where they got into it, to where the rage came in and the anger came in, like you getting way too emotional. We having a
Right.
manly conversation, and you know what I'm saying. You
Now
storming
you-
out like a lady, like
Right.
you know what I mean. Like I know these conversations need to be had. You know what I'm saying, and these settings need to be had because I don't want to get into it, but personally, I've taken on the responsibility of the men's ministry at my church.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the leader of men's ministry at
That's
my
what's
church.
up, P.
But it's broken.
What church is that, P?
Hey, Pastor P,
You know-
IMP.
Anything go at that church.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I told y'all P is the sweetheart.
But-
P
but-
got another
God
side.
bless the YN.
But the difference, the thing is, so it,
On phone them great.
the,
I'm on them grass.
the reason I stepped in is because I don't even want to say the name of my church on here
Nah, I
because
can fuck with you.
because of the reason of it is I stepped in because demographically the numbers in my church is like under 50. I honestly told my pastor, who is my uncle,
Mhm.
I told him like, hey, look around, brother. Under 50 is 2 straight men in here.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
2.
mm.
You know what I mean? So the demographic at the church is it's older men over 50 that are real solid men, and then you have young, not straight men. You know what I'm saying? So what I've been battling with so far is because I just started, so I'm trying to figure out how to bridge the gap or how to even do an icebreaker at this point because of that big ass gap of men that's missing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So I'm dealing with that. So just not to take it back, but that just kind of goes into the same thing. Like the generational curse, or not the curse,
Divide.
but the generational divide is so wide.
Yeah.
It's like shit. Like how do you even
How do you bridge
find
that?
how do you even find a medium to where these people can even sit at the table and talk and understand each other? That's what I was getting to.
What you were saying, E?
Oh, I didn't have anything else to say. I just wanted to understand that part, and then I think I would feel the same way if there was a trans woman telling me,
What's up with black women?
what women are going through, from a spiritual kind of like insight,
Yeah.
standpoint.
Nigga, you ain't never
Outwardly,
bled
unless
before?
it's outwardly facing. If it's like an outwardly facing conversation and you appear as a woman and you go through that
Right.
type of stuff, that's one thing. But if you're talking about a journey from
Right.
childhood to adulthood, I could see. So I
To
have
come up
nothing.
as a woman, you don't have no fucking idea. Like I could.
And I didn't watch it, so I don't want to give too much.
I think
The only
largely
context I
though,
would have would be based off what I've seen about it on social media, but I don't like to
Yeah.
I
respond
think
from that point.
largely what we've always suffered from and what we're going to continue to suffer from is a identity issue. And I've said that 1,000 times, right? Respectfully, to P's point about the church, like I think oftentimes people search for identity in church, right? I think oftentimes people search for identity in the streets. I think,
Sure.
you know what I mean? People are searching for identity. People are searching for identity in sexuality.
Yeah, in the mirror. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And again, we have a very interesting history in context to the rest of the living planet. Like we're the only people on the living planet that can't say our past, our history stretches to this. This is what we're rooted in. This is what we're based in.
Can't trace
Right?
it
There's
back.
conversations around what FBA means today, and
Foundational Black Americans for the uninformed.
Yeah, but we're having conversations as well. What was the transatlantic slave trade? This is today, right? What did it mean to be a Seminole Indian? What did it mean to be from Florida? Like all these are real conversations that's happening today.
Yeah.
And again, I think that divide and how we align ourselves with that divide just intensifies the lack of identity that we have.
Yeah.
Right? And because media has such a stranglehold on us, right? We are the largest consumers of media, Black people specific. Right? That's data driven. That you can find that data very easily. We are the largest consumers of media, right? And since we've been here, even the construct of Black itself is only in opposite of white, right? Our whole identity has been shaped in opposition of what the power source was.
Not who we are.
Not who we are, just in opposition of the other side, right? You Black because you ain't white. You know what I'm saying? That you Black because we definitively have kept you away from. It's a power conversation, right? Now, if you put that in perspective, and this is what I would ask the group, specifically in context to protect Black women. What the fuck does protecting the Black woman look like on a slave plantation? Because I bet you it's interesting than a motherfucker. I bet you it allows for rape. Think about it. Because if you're a radical revolutionary nigga, we don't get here. Somebody in our lineage acquiesced because they had to. Or we don't fucking get here, right? They killed Tucson. They killed those niggas,
Yeah.
right? And they ate them.
Nat-
They didn't even know. They eat niggas today, and they ate
Nat
them
Turner.
too.
Yeah.
They ate them too. All the shit we talking about with the Epstein files is all shit they did to every one of our ancestors, right? It's worldwide outrage with Epstein. Nobody gives a fuck about it with us. But this is our history. This is our lineage. Right? They've made alligator bait out of Black babies. What the fuck are we talking about? Right? So what does it mean to be a Black man that is protecting a Black woman on a goddamn plantation? Then what does it mean to be a Black man protecting a Black woman in Jim Crow South? Because he looks different every motherfucking time. Right? And I guarantee you that man was under stresses and pressures that the 20-year-old gay nigga don't have a clue of. Because if you was a 20-year-old gay nigga in his time, you wouldn't be an openly 20-year-old gay nigga.
Right.
Because the pressures of that world would allow for that. You'd be a 20-year-old dead nigga. That's real. That's real. Right? We got houses in our city, shrines and murals to dedications to 13-year-old boys who were murdered, beaten with bricks, put on train tracks, dumped in Mississippi rivers for whistling at white women. Did you find out 80 years later he never said shit to the white woman? Right. Miss the fuck out of me about your opinion about a life you ain't lived, my G.
Yeah. And the danger is like the further it goes, it's easier to move the goalposts, right? And so you look on like social media now, you're starting to see old videos resurface. I reposted one yesterday, I think, where you got a brother and he's talking to the white dude, and the white dude is talking this bullshit about how happy slaves were on the plantation, right? And it's like I posted that, and then somebody, I think Marshall Harris, sports reporter here in Chicago, host on the score. Shout out to Marshall. But anyway, he was like, he DM'd me, he's like, that's a classic video. I'm like, yeah, But why is it resurfacing? You know what I mean? Like why now is that type of rhetoric resurfacing? Because this is like from the fucking 70s or 50s or 60s or some shit. Why is that resurfacing now? Why is it now open season on rewriting history again? Right? And I think that's the danger when you start to have this kind of open thing where people who just became a man last week have a seat at the table at the black man round table. Like you just got your dick 2 days ago, my G. Like this ain't that. This ain't that. You don't have the lived experience. If I'm a woman, if I'm a trans woman, I go get my titties tomorrow. I ain't had no fucking woman experience, G. Sit this one out.
And even when you get your titties, you're not going to have a woman experience. You're going to have a man with titties experience.
Right. Exactly. That's the point I'm saying.
I know people get mad at that statement. No, you a nigga with titties experience now.
No,
that is not a woman.
Listen,
that's not a man.
And that's definitely been your lived experience as coming up as a boy into a man. Then you decide you want to be cool. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just don't tell me that you know the woman experience because you got titties yesterday.
Quick question. You ever had to announce to a woman before you laid down with her that you was a man?
No.
You ever had to announce to a man before you laid down with him that you was a woman? Then that ain't the experience. You haven't. Period. That ain't the experience.
Yeah.
We need to stop lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
That is not the. You can have
There's
whatever
a third and a fourth
you want to
experience,
have.
basically.
Huh?
I said there's a third and a fourth experience.
Yeah, you
There's
can
a
have
trans
whatever
man
experience you want to
and a
have.
trans woman
Don't attach
experience.
yourself to my wagon. That's not the same experience.
That's all I'm saying. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just don't say you've done what the fuck I've done.
Even
or you've
when
lived
you
what
show
I've
up
lived.
with a fade and a goatee, it's not my experience.
Yeah, no.
I didn't paint my facial hair on.
No,
I didn't have to get implants. It came with the process.
I didn't take testosterone
right?
meds.
It didn't grow in perfectly. It started way in my knee. I had to deal with that.
It's still not.
You ain't gonna never have to deal with that.
You know, whatever.
Whatever.
And it's the same black experience, even when they're having a lot of those conversations on the podcast with Godfrey. It's Godfrey, and then it's the other guy. Vic Mensa was just on it. They had Boris Kojo on it, who I didn't know was African. He's Nigerian, I guess.
All three of them is African, though. Vic is African too.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I'm learning because they're on these podcasts.
But I want you to pay attention to
But
something.
I'm saying, their experiences are totally different than ours. So you have an experience as an African immigrant versus that of a
Exactly. Same thing we were
Black
talking about the other day
American.
when what's
and that's valid.
Shabuzi came out
check
talking
that.
his shit, and it's like, bro, your parents just came here.
Even to the point of I say, here's this brother attacking Clifton Powell for his perspective, right? A perspective built and generated within the last probably 20 years, if I'm being really, really blatantly honest, right? Let's put in perspective Africans, right? There's this kind of, even the fact that FBA is being so strong, and I think there's a value to the ADOS FBA conversation. I do think until we figure out an identity, and we can just choose it, but we got to be committed to it, right? We're going to have an issue. The Nigerians have no problem saying, I'm a Nigerian, and they stand on what it means to be a Nigerian. Ghanaians have no problem with being Ghanaian, and they stand on what it means to be Ghanaian. Yeah. But I want to bring in the conversation of Africans specifically because there's a stereotype, and I'm not saying it's all true, but there's a stereotype, and there are truths to the stereotype too, that they do not rock with African Americans. And I'm not just talking about Africans, I'm talking about Haitians. People from the black diaspora usually do not rock with African Americans, black Americans, foundational black Americans, whatever title you want to put on our ass. Right? Traditionally, they do not rock with us. But you don't know the history, right? Because if you knew the history, Martin Luther King made way, it was those sacrifices, not Martin Luther King himself, but all of those black Americans that allowed for you to get to this country. Right? So you get here on our backs, then shun us for being us. The audacity of you sons of bitches. And for me, it reads just like that little gay boy talking to Clifton Powell. I'm here at this level and I'm going to shun you. I don't necessarily believe in laying down for white men in no capacity. Right? We've had conversations. I don't believe in laying down for no man in no capacity. If I'm going to be real, both of y'all have called me stupid when we had the bum conversation. He hop out me, I'm firing. That's my nature. Right? You say, how do you protect black women? That's my nature. But if my black woman is protecting me, she would say, stop. Right? That's why I asked you, what does that look like during slavery? What does that look like during Jim Crow? It looks very different, and all of them are warranted and valuable for the moment in time. And they create the room and space for you to talk like you talking today, motherfucker. So to disregard it bothers me. Same thing with the Africans. You cannot come here on my backs of my sacrifice and disregard me. That is problematic.
I saw this video. It said I was trying to pull it up, but it's not coming up. The guy said nobody came back to get us.
Right.
You know, I didn't see no ship. Did y'all see that? He was like,
No.
I didn't see any ships coming
Right.
to pick us up, coming to help us.
Right.
Y'all talking all this. He
Right.
said, out of all those 54 countries, no ships came to come and
back.
get us.
Give us our people back, Joe.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's fact.
And I never even thought about that.
No, that's real, man. I think it's even more dangerous now in a time where the lies are so prevalent and the misleading information is so prevalent. It's coming straight from the Oval Office in this country, and I think that part of it is a critical conversation. It's a lot he got going on. We got to get into that, but first, we need y'all to know about Black History Month Trivia Night this week. So too, it is Black History Month. In the spirit of Black History Month, we decided to host a trivia night, put it together. Shout out to the team. Shout out to E4O. Shout out to P. Shout out to Mila. And shout out to Nafsi, man. Shout out to good brother Donnell. We are hosting Black History Month Trivia Night, February 25th, 2026 at Nafsi South Shore. That's inside the Cultural Center. We want y'all to pull up for sure. I think it's a dope idea.
It is a dope idea. Also, man, shout out to our sponsors, man. Davis Development. We also go get Manny from the Print Lounge. We're going to print some shirts that offer away gifts to people who win the Black History Trivia Contest. Yeah. So, yeah, it should be a real dope night, man. And not only is it a dope night, but it's an important night. I've been having a lot of conversations, and I always use the language like I've been talking to these kids, but I say that and they be 30-year-old people. Right? And in context, man, I'm having these conversations around what I would deem the most stuff that most of us should know, and we just don't, man. So I think it's an important time. I think it'll be a fun time. Come kick it with us.
February 25th, 2026 at Nafsi, inside the South Shore Cultural Center. We want y'all to pull up. Come have a good time with us. Have some food, have some drinks. Do some Black History trivia. What do you know? Some of y'all might need to brush up.
Fellowship. Come fuck with us. That wasn't the right way to do it. I shouldn't have cursed.
Damn, fuck with us. You finna get us fucked up. Start over.
Black, I'm black, my thoughts so black, I'm black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking all black, everything is black. Rims on this black, wheels in this black, wheel with this black, bitch, I'm so black, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, black.
We definitely want to see as many of y'all at Black History Month Trivia Night as possible. Come rock with us at Nafsi. Two, your man is Trump, man. Like he's doing so much, man. I'm starting to feel like all of this Epstein file stuff is merely a distraction to all the other moves that he's moving around the chessboard and all the other pieces he's moving around. They fought like hell to keep them files secret for as long as they could. Now it's like, hey, everybody was there. Whatever. Talk about that. Talk about Ellen DeGeneres eating babies or whatever the fuck she was doing. Talk about whether or not Jay-Z was there. Talk about this, that, and the third. And it's like, meanwhile, E telling me that this nigga is starting a whole nother international pact akin to the UN. It's like, you doing all this shit, moving $10 billion to fund your own shit. Like,
the Trump Peace Board, which was supposed to start as a treaty for Gaza, but Trump changed all the rules. He's saying that the U.S. will fund it with $10 billion. We don't know where that came from because nothing has passed Congress as far as spending. It's like 24 countries, I think, that signed on at $1 billion a piece, and it's basically like a international force, like army force sort of a thing, with like 200 and something thousand members. So it was actually just an update I was reading while we were sitting here that
you talk about 200 and
they on the way to bomb somebody, I think.
You talk about 200 and something military people. That's just the U.S. So you talking about you want to get a bunch of little motherfuckers who just do whatever you say because you say, hey, if you don't do this, we'll stop buying zippers from you. And it's like, okay, well, we can't survive without zippers, so whatever. My thing is like, what other world powers are going to get involved in this? To me, it just sounds like yo ass just found a way to launder $10 billion of United States taxpayer money into your own coffers or whatever the fuck you want to do. And
Yeah, and he's the I'm trying to find it.
yeah, what'd you say? Like he's the sole, like
Yeah, he's the so he transferred $10 billion
for life,
to
right?
the Board
Like,
of Peace. The Pope had rejected, Donald Trump's invitation to join the Board of Peace, which is
of
like how I
course.
came across it. But basically, he's the sole chair
Yeah.
for life.
And then he can appoint
he's
his
the only
successor.
person that can appoint his successor, who would then be the chair for life.
This shit sounds goofy to me.
So when I walked in here, I was watching this kind of roundtable conversation around feminists.
Oh wait, sorry. You
feminism.
said the carriers were already moving toward Iran. So the USS Gerald Ford, which is 1,106 feet of nuclear power, still 4,500 people eating and sleeping inside of it. So it's basically, that's what I was saying when I was saying they already on the way towards Iran, but it's 20,000, not 200,000, 20,000 strong international military force, which pledged $10 billion in public funds to back it. Sorry, go ahead too.
So what I was saying was, when I walked in here, I was listening to this kind of roundtable conversation around feminism and anti-feminism, all had by a conglomerate of a bunch of different women.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting conversation.
Yeah, I was hearing you listening to that.
But one of the things you asked was like, where are they getting these data points from?
Yeah.
Right? But there's a larger conversation, right? The outgrowth of patriarchy, or the outgrowth of feminism or matriarchy, or any of those constructs in modern terms, and how we see them in modern terms, is all a derivative of capitalism. All of it is, right? We can do anything men can do. We could be at the table with sports. We could do that.
Can't have a patriarchy or a matriarchy if we're all men and women and everything in between.
So my point in saying that is that, right, those specific women are arguing for a perspective, right? A perspective that was given to them because it feeds a system that needs to be fed, right? Now, when they argue the perspective, they very rarely argue the intent to feed the system, right? Slavery wasn't just because, hey, I'm mad. It's an intent to feed a system.
Right.
You know what I mean? A system of power, right? And we can go, racism is an intent to feed a system. It's really no other issue other than I can identify your ass because you got black skin.
Right.
You're easy to identify. You can be the enemy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's still an intent to feed a system. You know what I mean?
It's definitely not personal. You don't even know me.
You don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. You don't know me. It's an intent to feed a system. And that's international. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like white supremacy is at this point kind of dominated the global sphere, right? But whatever cruelty or whatever disdain that they inflict upon the country, and in my opinion, I heard an older black man say this the other day. You talking about some clip you heard. He said, man, you call white people the devil. He said, until you show me a different one. They've shown up on the planet in this capacity, and I agree. Until you show me a different one, this is who the fuck they are, right? Now, we only see that from the very ostentatious perspectives of them. They gave babies to alligators, right? But what about when they run your school system and create the curriculums that they know is going to keep your ass stupid?
Right. Right.
It's also as dangerous, or maybe even more dangerous,
right?
But I say this to say, all that shit is a grift to maintain and control power. So when Trump does whatever the group of peace or whatever the fuck he called it, I could care less. This whole institution and every institution before him has been about maintaining or controlling power. And depending on where you are in this sphere, you adjust and recalibrate.
Sure.
Right? So for the first time in our understanding of American life, and for the first time probably since the 20s, America is moving off the oil standard, right? And when we talk about white supremacy, it's a system, but it's a system controlled and dominated by a elite few.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And they will do anything to maintain power.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Trump ain't even invited to that fucking party. He was never invited.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a pawn today. He's going to be a pawn tomorrow. But why he's at the party?
He's going to be
Because
used.
he has an understanding of the system.
He's going to be used.
I'm getting mine, motherfucker.
Like, no, I'm cool. Herb, I don't hate you. We cool. Yes, we are cool, white friend. We good. But that don't have nothing to do with the conversation at large here, right? I watch a show called Crime in Progress. It's fucking insane. I recommend anybody to watch it. But what I've been noticing as I watch it is how prevalent white privilege is in these cases. Dog, is insane. The shit, like, these are like the wildest cases. I guess they're the wildest cases. I don't know. The shit be insane. But you see the white privilege play out in these episodes all the time. One of the more recent episodes. And this was the devil level shit. Peter, nigga, did he not? The white dude, he like 19. I'm gonna fast forward to the part where you knew he was the actual devil. He's in the interrogation room. They like, yo, what's going on? He like, they say they found something in your room, and he like, yeah, it was a human head and some hands. They're like, well, how'd that come to your room? He like, a few days ago, I was driving around, and I looked out my window, and I saw a homeless guy over there. And I was like, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So I circled back, up my big ass knife, stabbed him in his neck, killed him. Then I cut his arm off, threw it out the window, cut his other arm off, threw it out the window. I cut his legs off, left him over there under that bridge. You go over here and make a left right there, it's right under there over that bridge. Then I put him in the trunk and drove him in the river. And they like, even the white people in the room are like, we looking at each other like, are you hearing this nigga? Is he talking like this right now? And they like, do you like any regret about that? And he like, I mean, look, I realize now that I'm probably gonna do the next 15 years of my life in prison. So maybe I wouldn't have done it. But like the cold, callous nature of this shit was insane. But to the privilege part, when they pulled up at his house, because his mama called and said, my son got a head in here. He pulls up on the scene. They like, yo, head. Like, yeah, it was a head and some hands. They like, okay, well, just sit in the back of the squad car. Nobody handcuffs him.
That's nothing.
It's just, okay, just have a seat. You know what I'm saying? This shit happens all the time. The last episode they had, this is in the middle of fucking Ohio somewhere, like rural Ohio. So far that when they was trying to get the victim to the hospital, it was like, we got to get a helicopter because the hospital, the closest on the floor, they trying to do CPR on her. He's going off on the police. Get the fuck out. What the fuck do you want? Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to call somebody for my kids. Leave me the fuck alone. They let him do all this shit while this woman is sitting here dying on the fucking ground. And then the family comes, and this whole family's like, yeah, he always beating her ass. He been beating her ass for a long time. I came over here 2 weeks ago and she was unrecognizable because he was beating her ass. It's like, this is the type of shit that be happening. It's like nobody's even acknowledging the savagery of any of this type of shit. But it's just insane, man. I think you see it play out at these levels. And it's like, what do you do about it now, man? It's when it's at the presidential level and you're seeing all this type of shit continue. I think it all goes together. It's all like whether we started this conversation talking about Jesse Jackson. Now we talking about some random white dude in Ohio beating his wife to death with his hands. And all of that shit is connected. All of that shit seamlessly transitioned through each topic. And it's like, how is there a through line of America through all of this shit? And nobody's like, yeah, we got this wrong.
So I want to ask a quick question of the room. And then I want to just answer the question direct because I want to delve into the question, but then I want to circle around to a larger point. We dove into that conversation about Clifton Powell. Do we think that in context to being able to access American power, right? Do we think that the straight black male or the heterosexual black male has the same opportunities and access as the homosexual black male? I really want y'all opinions.
I can start off. I could definitely say no because just just noticing how corporate America works and stuff like that. I just looking at it as that point, just employment and corporate America and stuff like that. Um, I feel like white people or corporate America have a fear of the straight black man. Like they're not. They will more so hire a homosexual black man before they hire a straight black man, just because of the simple facts that they fear. I think it's a fear factor comes in on it, and I think just if you go to random hotels, just flight attendant. I mean, just
We ain't got to get no full
Restaurants.
explanation. I just want to hear your perspective. You
yeah,
really get to be a yes or no.
yeah.
And I'm going to bring it around to a larger point. Anybody?
Yeah, no, it certainly is that way now. I think there's seems more digestible. It maybe seems to fit an agenda, but yes, cool.
Yeah, I would say no. I would say no because white patriarchy or American patriarchy cannot include, black men. I don't feel.
So you saying no, the straight black man does not have more access? The homosexual black man has more access?
If I had to, my first mind would be that they would have more access than the heterosexual.
Cool. Now, the point I'm making ain't even about heterosexual or homosexual black men. Because in my mind, black as a group is still at the bottom of the power totem pole,
Right.
whether it be woman or man. But I use black male and black homosexual male because, one, they're both male, but both sides argue that we're at the bottom, we're being fucked, right? And through that, oh, I know that sounds crazy, that sounds wild.
Black homosexual bottom being
Pause,
fucked.
right?
Crazy.
But now I want to go up to the top of the conversation in regards to how we've been having this conversation, specifically around white men and white male behavior, or white women behavior too, because if you see in the Epstein files, and if you understood kind of the grueling realities of slavery, and not even just slavery, because we can keep going further and further in history, right? Y'all watch Game of Thrones, them white women was as wicked than white men. Period, right? There's a book called They Were Her Slaves. Wickedness. You understand what I'm saying? The white woman is not separate from the white man. As a group, they've done these grueling, degrading, devil level shit, right? Then at the very anchoring of just narratives, there's a common colloquialism that says, power corrupts absolutely. No, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Right? So it ain't necessarily even about white or black, gay or straight. It's about what power looks like. Right? If there's been studies where people play the game Monopoly, they start some people off with $1,000, some people start off with no money. By the end of the game, the people who started off with the privilege start looking at the players who started off with no money as losers. That had nothing to do with skill. I didn't have no skill in getting this extra $1,000.
Right.
But I'm shitting on you for the duration of this game. The Jane Elliott, brown eyes, blue eyes. It didn't have nothing to do with me, but I'm shitting on you through the duration of the game because I've reaped the benefits.
The Stanford experiment with the prison thing.
Whatever it is, power does what power does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you shun the motherfucker that you deem as beneath you.
Yeah.
Right? And the motherfucker that's beneath you does not like being shunned.
Yeah.
And he's fighting. She's fighting to get recognition in the pantheon of power. But at the top of power, every person who's held it has shown to be a fucking demigod. Why are we aspiring to an idea that only breeds sickness?
It's ever corrupting. Always.
Anybody,
Absolutely.
right? And so nobody confuses what I just said.
Mhm.
Even context. I asked you, did you think that the black homosexual had more access to the white system? In this moment in time, that's a strategy for this moment in time. And yes, he does, which is why that boy can talk to Clifton Powell the way he does, and then everybody else who ain't a black male will sympathize with him, because everybody else is aspiring to power. It don't got shit to do with empathy. I can't hear you, nigga, because you beneath me. It don't matter what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
I got the $1,000 when I started the game. Bitch, you didn't. That's your fault.
Yeah. Nah, that's on point, man. That's why it made me think about the Stanford experiment, where they took a group of people, all of them the same, and then they brought them in there, and it's like, you the prisoners, you the guards. And at first it's like, okay, whatever, I'm the guards. But as they continued to go out, you motherfuckers really thought y'all was the guards now. And y'all really started abusing these people like they prisoners.
Period.
And it was like insane.
And it happens in every test that they do like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does.
Yeah. Power corrupts. Absolutely.
I probably should have just let it end there. But that reminded me of this other experiment that I read about that was kind of similar, but it's more so on a standpoint of like a woe is me or weakness where, and I don't even remember where I read it, but basically they took a group of people, took half of the room and put scars on their faces or whatever and said, go out into the world and, see what happens. Because they were, I hate I even
That's
brought it
wild.
up right now, but basically they put scars on their face on 10 of them, and the other 10 they didn't put the scars. I think the experiment was about how you're perceived based on like how you look or something like that.
And then what outcomes come with that perception?
Yeah, so then the people with the scars came back and said they were treated differently, like how they felt so much differently, but the whole time they didn't know they wiped the scars off of them before the experiment even started. So they just thought they had this scar on their face.
Damn.
So it's a lot
Internalized.
Exactly.
It's psychological as much as it is
my
physical.
point about the
Exactly.
homosexual, heterosexual male.
Wow.
In truth, I said that very blatantly. All you niggas in the same place. Right? All you in the same place. And you think I give a shit about what you do in your bedroom. I could I'm not interested in the body. I don't care what you do with him. Right? But it's the same thing. But both sides have an effect, right? The people at the bottom of the Monopoly game feel like losers too. That's the truth, right? The people in the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experience, after a while, the brown-eyed white people's like, well, damn, I just want to be blue-eyed. It's how it works. But it's just a system of power that you can opt out of. Man, I don't believe in this shit.
Fuck this game.
And it's more brown-eyed motherfuckers. It's more Scarface motherfuckers. It's more $1,000 don't have motherfuckers. Fight back.
Power corrupts, absolutely. We do have a choice to fight back. How we fight back seems to be eluding us. We'll see how that goes going forward. But appreciate y'all for tuning in to this episode of Herb and Two. Please make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the page. Make sure you set the alerts so you get reminders when we drop new content. And share it with at least one person that you think would appreciate this conversation. Huge shout out to P and E. I'm so glad that y'all be making y'all cameos in the show now. It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Shout out to EMP doing all of the hard work behind the camera as usual. Wow. That man's name is Two. This man's name is Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.